Sparky's thoughts.
So, Cardi finally drops music. It's been a little bit since he dropped it, so let's talk about it, I guess. First of all, let me just give you guys some background. I'm a huge Cardi fan, an avid listener since 2017, a day one whole lot of Red defender. And if you guys are also Cardi fans, you know that this rollout was absolutely insane. We got our tips teased with music at the end of 2023, a song telling us that the album was gonna drop in 2024, only for the entire year to go by, and we got nothing. I lost $100 on a bet that Cardi would drop in 2024. So, you know, that kind of pissed me off a little bit. So, quite frankly, the album needed to be fucking good. I also went to the Playboy Cardi baby boy birthday celebration thing that he was having in New York like a few months ago. You know, the same day that he was beefing with Lucky, you know, should've signed to the O.
Should've signed to the O.
Yeah, that happened that day. And if you know anything about that, then you know the people in there had to fight our way in there, get pushed, squashed, and damn near assaulted during certain times just to get in there. We waited for about 4 to 5 hours and Cardi didn't even fucking show up. But once again, Cardi fans, we have a lot of endurance, right? We can take this shit on the chin. It is what it is. Just make sure the music is good. But finally, we got it. A few weeks ago, Cardi dropped his anticipated album, Music. And you know, really, man, I'll be honest, I thought it was all right. And you know, if you just happen to be an attractive woman watching this video right now, first of all, hey. But second of all, you know, this video might not be the one for you. It's not gonna be that good of a video anyway. You might as well just click off. I got some other stuff you might find a little bit more entertaining than this. You don't need to see any of this, but yeah, that was the warning. But yeah, you know, the album, it was cool. It was alright, you feel me?
Girl, can she please turn it up and the girl's the one that lean you.
I think we might get that, I ain't gonna lie. That's the clip, my nigga. I'm dead ass crying, bro. I can't even lie to y'all, bro.
I thought the album was pretty damn good, bro. I gave it like an 8.5 out of 10. And this is all Cardi glaze aside. I thought it was a pretty solid body of work. But it's been a little while, you know, I didn't want to just jump on the trend immediately of talking about it. At least not for this body of work, right? I don't mind talking about music as soon as it comes out. But real music listeners know sometimes it's going to take a little while for things to digest. You need to let time go by and live with the music. And a few weeks later, I love it. I thought it was pretty damn good. First, let me just get a couple of my gripes with it out of the way. I do think a lot of the tracks could be mixed better, especially the more melodic, relaxed tracks that he's on. Like, for example, I Can See You Baby Boy and Rather Lie. It just really felt like there was something missing in those tracks, right? These are supposed to be some of those floatier, more relaxing, melodic tracks, and something about them to me just feels like they're in a box. They don't have space to breathe. Like, you know, let the sounds fly. But something about it just seemed a little compressed, and I don't know, it kind of sucks because those are two snippets that I was personally really looking forward to, and honestly, a few weeks later, those aren't even my most listened to songs on the album. Not to say that I don't listen to them, but they're just not my personal favorite songs on the album like I thought that they would be. Even on Pop Out, I still like the song, but the mixing just seems a little dry. It doesn't hit the same way that the OG version did, or like when they played it during the concerts, how it just had that to it. Like, it just, something about the way it's mixed isn't completely up to par for me. Once again, I still enjoy all those songs nonetheless, but I'm not a writer, so I have to point out that they're not perfect. Yo, quick intermission. If you like me or my content, consider following me on Twitch. I go live literally every other day, and definitely follow my second channel, Sparky No Thoughts. I upload there damn near every single day. And also follow me on Instagram. If you like me, just like my face, or just want to see what I do with my life. Thank you for your time, and back to the video. Also, the features, at least some of the ones with Future and Travis Scott, they kind of sound like Future and Travis Scott songs with a Cardi feature rather than something that Cardi needed to put on his project to advertise as his song, right? You know, I just feel like I want a little bit more Cardi on his own features. Surprisingly, Philly is my favorite Travis Scott feature on this album. Crush didn't 100% live up to the hype for me, but Travis and Cardi as a duo, you know, they're pretty cool. Personally, I would have preferred for like Problem Child to be one of the songs on the album, but it is what it is. And that Young Thug feature, man, We Need All the Vibes, without a doubt my least favorite song on the album. And it's not even a bad song per se, it's just, it doesn't need to be on there. It doesn't fit any of the vibes, and this album has a lot of vibes. So for me to say it doesn't fit any of the vibes, ironically enough, is definitely saying something. We did not need all the vibes. Come to find out, it's a Young Thug and Gunna song that I guess got scrapped off of some other project, and then Thug just said, hey Cardi, you know what, you can have this shit. And it really shows, especially considering that they left Gunna's ad-libs on the song. It definitely felt like a last-minute decision to me, which I can almost confirm that it was a last-minute decision, because it was like, what, 1 or 2 nights before the album dropped, and Cardi posted a picture of him and Young Thug on FaceTime talking about, oh, I couldn't have left you off this slat. I don't remember if that's exactly how he said it, bro, but I'm pretty sure that this is part of the reason that the album was delayed, because this was like literally not too long before he was about to drop. Like, adding the finishing touches to your album hours before it has to drop is quite frankly insane, and is the most Playboy Cardi shit you can do. Also, I feel like the composition could have been a little bit more intentional. I know people like to say like, oh, you know, it's a tape, it's not supposed to feel cohesive, but I don't know. Cardi's bodies of work have never felt cohesive to me, but this album really kind of takes the cake. They start you off with some rage, then they throw in some trap, then they slow it down, then they just go back to trap for a few songs, and then they go to like some otherworldly sound that like you can't even fathom, and then it's back to it's just kind of all over the place. And I feel like, bro, this is like Cardi's biggest, most hyped up album yet. All the mainstream attention is on you. NBA players posted drop the album. You got a Grammy co-sign from Kai Cenat.
For real, Cardi got to drop. I know Cardi going to see this. Cardi just dropped.
To a lot of people, this is their first introduction to Playboy Cardi. So to start the album with Pop Out, just doesn't feel like the smartest decision to me. And that's my thing with composition, bro. Like, there's too many nitpicky girls that I seen on Twitter say, I couldn't listen to the album because the first song just hurt my ears. And I'm just like, damn, bro. I feel like it isn't fair to judge an album off of one song or even its first song, but like, I definitely was not the first song that I would have led with. Not even to say that it was a bad song, but like, I don't really understand that creative decision. Also, Pop Out was supposed to transition into Evil Jordan, but they didn't even end up putting them together on the album, right? So Pop Out just kind of has this awkward outro, and Evil Jordan has this intro that people love, apparently, but like, it just would have hit a little bit more if they had just done that right. I understand the sentiment of like, oh, you know, this is supposed to be like a mixtape kind of vibe. Not everything has to be cohesive, but when it's like blatantly obvious that the lack of cohesion comes from carelessness, I can't even justify that selling point, because it's like, was it really? I don't know. Now to what I like. I like the vast range of different sounds that we get throughout this album, and although they could have been put together better as far as where they are placed on this album, there's at least 2 songs on this album for everybody, and 2 is on the low end. There's 30 fucking tracks on here, which low-key you could say that this is kind of like a bad side to this album, but as a Cardi fan, it don't even really matter to me. Not to mention, a lot of these songs we heard leak or drop before. So really, for Cardi fans, it was like a 18 song album. But, you know, not everyone's a Cardi fan, so I can't look at it from that lens. But I think there's something on here for everybody. The old songs are here. We got some leaks, some snippets. The beats on this album were like otherworldly, bro. The Metro beat for Radar is honestly some of the best production that I've heard in the last 2 years, especially on a lot of the trap sounds. Like when Travis said that this is supposed to be the Astro World of Atlanta, he did not disappoint. As a trap fan, if you listen to a lot of old Future, a lot of old Young Thug, Rich Homie Quan, like all the older Atlanta artists from like the early 2010s, with that appreciation for the underground sound and artists kind of using their voices as instruments and not being too focused on lyrics, I think you will love it here. And quite frankly, bro, like, this is just a love letter to Cardi fans, man. Like, there's something for everybody in here. If you like the jumpy trap elements of Die Lit, there's a home for you here. If you like the more mellow Cardi that's made its home on Die Lit or made an appearance on Self-Titled, there's stuff for you here. Shit, if you a girl that just likes shaking ass, there's something for you here. If you like deep voice Cardi, there's something for you here. If you like some of the sounds on Whole Lotta Red, there's those good rage sounds that are there, and it's just like, they all hit. Can't even necessarily say that there's a bad song on here, but overall my point was that there's just like something for everybody. My personal favorite top 3 as of right now, it's probably gonna change honestly tomorrow, is Like Wheezy, Opium Baby, and like Between Overly and Crank, right? And you gotta understand, my top 3 is honestly the way it is because I've heard a lot of these songs before because I'm a Cardi fan. Everyone's top 3 is probably gonna look different, but it's all just really good, bro. Cardi got melodic on here, he screamed on here, he rapped a little bit on here. As for the features features, I think the Skepta feature was pretty good. The Travis features were solid, especially on Philly, like I mentioned earlier. The tracks from Uzi on here were pretty solid. You can never go wrong with Cardi and Uzi on a track. The only feature I'd say was like Young Thug, but honestly, once again, it's not even a bad song. It wasn't even his fault. I explained that earlier. One thing I don't understand about this project is why people are hating on the Kendrick Lamar features. They were fire. In my humble opinion, no one that's complaining about the Kendrick Lamar features are complaining about the features because the songs are bad or that they even dislike them, but they just feel like, oh, Kendrick is mainstream, he should let the Young Bucks have their chance. Oh, Kendrick doesn't belong on here, he doesn't sound right, he doesn't need to be on a Cardi album, this is obviously a clout move. First of all, yeah, music is business, you dummy. Cardi is one of the littest rappers out right now, and Kendrick is one of the littest rappers ever, so it's within both of their best interests to collab on this album. Secondly, I thought it fit pretty well. The beats that Cardi had Kendrick on weren't too out of either of their playing fields to the point where anything felt like it didn't belong. Both of them did their thing on those features, man. Those are some of my favorite tracks on this album, especially for me, man. Like, I'm a fan of Kendrick. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of Kendrick like most people are, but one thing I know about Kendrick is sometimes it almost felt like he was above doing certain types of music, or that he could never just truly relax and just hop on a track and have fun because he felt like he had to carry the whole weight of the hip-hop community and the black community on his shoulders. And like, you can see that that's what a lot of his projects are based off of. So personally, as a fan of Kendrick and Cardi, to see Kendrick kind of just unwind and do some ad-libs on a track, just rap about some bullshit, was like really refreshing to me. But like, yo, I think this is a big opportunity for a lot of these sounds coming up right now. Like, there's a huge divide in hip-hop right now, almost to the point where I feel like the mainstream doesn't want to acknowledge a lot of these underground rappers or sounds. And not to say Cardi is underground at all, but he definitely has a sound that is a little bit more embraced by the underground than the mainstream. So to see Kendrick hop on songs from Cardi honestly was like the end of an era, to be honest. Like, I never thought I would see this shit in my life. So I don't really understand why people are hating on it, but it is what it is. Y'all niggas don't know music anyway. And to add insult to injury, Kanye's jealous again. He put out some tweets about Cardi, tried to air out some domestic violence situation that happened between him and his girlfriend, which, like, you know, cool, if you want to do that, I get it, but like, you don't have the most altruistic cause in the world, right? But to post that and then openly support P. Diddy, I think it does a little bit more than cancel out the cause. I think it completely obliterates the cause, but whatever. But honestly, bro, as much as like I think Cardi and Kanye have great chemistry on music together, between the rumors that Cardi had to push back his album because of Kanye trying to drop Vultures and the recent rants on Twitter, bro, I don't personally really care about him being left off of the album. Once again, in a lot of ways, this is Cardi's door into the mainstream, like global recognition. So honestly, no matter who you are, I don't feel like it's necessarily an issue that Kanye was left off of this album. But you know, that's just me. Once again, it is what it is. It's honestly gotten so bad to the point where like Cardi actually had to address Ye in the most Cardi way possible. He just said, "Ye, shut the fuck up." And that's just like, wow, you know, shoot, you really made this dude tweet about anything. But overall, man, this album was pretty damn good. I'd say it's a solid 8.5. I wouldn't quite put it over a Whole Lotta Red though, really just because of the cohesion of Whole Lotta Red. And once again, none of Cardi's albums are that cohesive in terms of the placement of the songs, but I feel like in Whole Lotta Red it worked the best. We got breaks when we needed to get breaks. The vibe switched up, but it also still maintained a consistent sound as far as the production goes and the beats. But either way, both are solid. I don't think there's necessarily a terrible track on either albums. But then again, I'm a nigga with a black shirt on and dreads and a Wojackass's profile picture. If you decided that you didn't want to take my word for it, I couldn't even blame you. I like what the fuck I like. That's how I feel about music. I probably left a lot of things out because I didn't script this. You know, I'm trying to go in raw more often than not. What the fuck did I just say? Anyway, that's my opinion on music. I think it's a pretty solid listen. I recommend it to anybody, no matter how old you are. Even if you don't find something that you like, there will always be a laugh or some sort of enjoyment that you can get out of this. Yeah, man. Thank you for watching. Once again, we're almost at 100,000 subs, so be sure to subscribe. And yeah, man, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video.
She a Jezebel, may not be
Shorty got the power to a love. She's such a